The vase shattered against the wall, glass exploding everywhere, but Amara didn't care. She grabbed another one, expensive crystal, probably worth more than her rent, and hurled it across the penthouse. It crashed into a painting. "Fuck you," she screamed into the empty room. Her voice echoed off the marble floors, the glass windows, the cold luxury that had become her prison. She wasn't scared anymore. She was furious. If you're ready for the rage, the action, and the heat, hit that subscribe button. Part 2 is about to get wild. Her name was Amara Hayes, and 3 days earlier she'd learned the truth. The man she thought she was falling for wasn't one man. He was two. Two identical Korean Mafia twins who had taken turns pretending to be each other. Min Jae, the gentle one who kissed her softly, who asked about her mother. Min Jun, the dark one who stalked her, broke into her apartment, watched her sleep. They both wanted her, and when she tried to run, they told her she belonged to them. Both of them. She fainted. When she woke up, she was here, in their penthouse, in Seoul, miles away from her apartment, her job, her life. The first thing she did wasn't cry. It wasn't beg. It was rage, pure white-hot rage. She replayed every moment from the last 3 days. Every lie, every soft touch, every moment she thought she was losing her mind because Min Jae seemed different, because he was different. It had been Min Jun, pretending, watching, manipulating. She grabbed her phone and texted Nia, her best friend back in the States. "They're insane. They think they own me." Nia replied instantly, telling her to breathe, asking where she was, panicking. Amara told her the truth. Seoul, locked in their penthouse, a place like a fortress. Nia tried to call the cops. Amara told her not to. Mafia didn't fear police. Nia asked what she was going to do. Amara didn't know, so she threw another vase. The front door opened. She didn't turn around, but she felt them enter, the shift in the air, the energy. "You redecorated," Min Jun drawled. She spun to face them standing side by side. Identical faces, different energy. Min Jae looked tired, guilty, like he was hoping she would soften at the sight of him. Min Jun looked amused, almost delighted by the chaos. "Get out," she said coldly. Min Jae stepped forward. "Amara, I said get out." He stopped. Min Jun didn't. He stepped closer, over shards of broken crystal. "You're angry," he said softly. "Good." She laughed bitterly. "Good? You think this is good?" "Yes," he murmured. "Anger means you care. I don't care. I hate you. Both of you." Min Jae flinched. Min Jun smiled. Liar. And she hated that he was right. Even now, furious, betrayed, she felt the pull, the heat, the dangerous chemistry she despised herself for. "Leave me alone," she whispered. "We can't," Min Jae said, voice breaking. "Why not?" Min Jun answered for both of them. "Because we're already too deep." That night, when they left again for some Mafia business they wouldn't explain, she made a plan. She would escape. She texted Nia, told her she'd take a bus, hide in another district, find a way home. At 2 a.m., she climbed out the guest bedroom window onto a maintenance balcony. She dropped down, scraped her knee, and ran. The streets of Seoul were cold and empty. She didn't speak Korean, had barely any money, but she didn't care. She found a night bus, paid cash, and sat in the back. For the first time in days, she breathed. Then the bus stopped on a bridge. SUVs blocked both sides. Masked men stormed inside, shouting. They weren't police. They weren't the twins' men. A man grabbed her, yanked her off the bus, and threw her onto the pavement. Rain soaked her instantly. 5 men surrounded her. "You belong to Kim Brothers," one said in broken English. "Now you belong to us." Terror washed through her. These weren't the twins. These were their enemies. And she was bait. Headlights flashed. Tires screeched. Gunshots cracked through the night. The attackers scattered. Min Jae and Min Jun emerged like shadows made flesh. Lethal. Furious. Violent. Min Jun moved first. 2 guns, both firing with terrifying precision. Min fell. Min Jae moved faster. Silent. A blade appearing, as if from nowhere. Blood mixed with rain. Bodies hit the ground. Amara froze. These were not the men who whispered sweet things in her ear. These were killers. When the last attacker fled, Min Jun let him run. Then he turned to her with cold fury. He grabbed her waist, hauled her up. "You could have died," he snapped. Min Jae cupped her face with blood-stained hands. "Don't run from us again. They dragged her to the car. She didn't fight. Shock made her limbs heavy. In the back seat, Min Jun sat beside her while Min Jae drove in tense silence. Who were they? She finally asked. Rivals, Min Jun answered. Why do they want me? Because you're ours. And they know it. She slapped his hand away when he grabbed her chin. I'm not yours. Yes, you are. Back at the penthouse, she erupted. She shoved Min Jae, screaming that they didn't get to control her life. She hit Min Jun's chest, calling them liars, manipulators, abusers. Min Jae reached for her. She recoiled. Min Jun caught her wrist gently but firmly. Hit me if it helps. She tried, but the exhaustion hit her all at once. She crumpled against him, sobbing, and she hated herself for the tiny thread of safety she felt in his arms. Min Jae wrapped around her from behind. We're sorry, he whispered. No, you're not, she choked out. You're right, Min Jun murmured. We're not sorry for wanting you, but we're sorry for hurting you. She didn't have the strength to fight anymore, so she cried, and they held her. Amara pulled away from them, wiping her face, her hands still trembling. I need space, she said, her voice hoarse. Min Jae nodded immediately. Of course. Min Jun didn't move. He simply watched her, as if memorizing every detail. I mean it, she insisted. Space. Now. His head tilted slightly. How much space? A locked door between us. His lips curved into a dark smile. Fine, but we're not leaving this penthouse. I wasn't asking you to. She stormed into the guest bedroom, slammed the door, locked it, and finally, she could breathe. She pulled out her phone. Amara, I'm alive. Barely. Got ambushed on a bus. The twins showed up. It was violent. She stared at the screen. Nia still hadn't read the last message. Maybe she was still dealing with her parents. Family stuff. But God, Amara needed her. She needed someone sane. Someone who wasn't part of this Mafia nightmare. Curling up on the bed, she closed her eyes. But she didn't sleep. Because even through the locked door, she could feel them. Watching. Waiting. Amara woke to the smell of coffee and food. Her stomach growled loudly, betraying her instantly. She hadn't eaten in almost 24 hours. Reluctantly, she unlocked the door and stepped out into the main living area. Both twins were there. Min Jae was in the kitchen, plating what looked like a full breakfast spread. Min Jun lounged on the couch, scrolling on his phone, looking completely unbothered by last night's violence. They both looked up when she entered. Hungry? Min Jae asked gently. She wanted to say no. She wanted to be strong, but she was starving. Yes, she muttered. Min Jae smiled, small, hopeful. She sat at the table. He placed a plate in front of her, scrambled eggs, toast, fruit, coffee. It was perfect. She hated that it was perfect. Eat, Min Jun said from the couch without looking up. You'll need your strength. For what? She asked coldly. He lifted his gaze to hers. For what's coming. A chill ran through her. She took a bite of eggs. They were good. Annoyingly good. Why me? She asked suddenly. Both twins froze. Min Jae set the coffee pot down slowly. What? Why me? She repeated, looking between them. You're Mafia. You're rich. You're... She gestured weakly at their perfect faces. That. You could have anyone. So why all this for a random ER nurse? Silence. Min Jae sat across from her, eyes soft and vulnerable. You weren't random, he said quietly. I was bleeding out on a gurney. You smiled at me anyway. Amara blinked at him. You didn't look at me like I was dangerous, he continued. You looked at me like I was human. Like I mattered. Something cracked in her chest. And when you touched me, when you put your hand on my shoulder to calm me down, no one's ever touched me like that. Gentle. Kind. Like I was worth saving. You were worth saving, she whispered before she could stop herself. His smile was devastating. That's why. Min Jun finally spoke. And I watched you sleep that first night. Saw how peaceful you looked. How trusting. Her blood ran cold. That's not romantic. That's psychotic. I know. Min Jun rose and sat beside his brother. But I looked at you and thought, this woman has no idea how cruel the world is. And I wanted to protect that. Protect you. Even if it meant becoming the thing you should fear most. She stared at them, realizing she had never stood a chance. I still hate you both, she said, though the fire in her voice was weaker now. We know, Min Jae replied softly. Good, Min Jun added. Hate keeps you sharp. Amara stood abruptly. I need air. You can't leave. I'm not leaving, she snapped. Just go to the balcony. Do I need permission for that too? Min Jae winced. Min Jun simply nodded. Go. We'll be here. She stepped onto the balcony. Seoul sprawled beneath her. Bright, vast, painfully beautiful. She pulled out her phone. Amara. They told me why they're obsessed. It's insane. But also, I don't know. I'm so confused. Still nothing from Mia. Amara. I miss you. Wish you were here. She stared at the city, wondering if she would ever feel normal again. She was still on the balcony when it happened. Alarms blared. Loud, urgent, deafening. The penthouse lights flickered. Glass shattered. An explosion rocked the building. She screamed. The balcony door flew open. Min Jae grabbed her and yanked her inside. Get down, he shouted. Another explosion shook the floor. Smoke filled the room. Amara coughed, unable to breathe, unable to see. Min Jun emerged from the haze with a gun drawn. They're inside, he said coldly. Ooh, she gasped. Same rivals from the bridge. Min Jae answered, pulling her behind the marble kitchen island. Ow. Doesn't matter. Min Jun growled, firing into the smoke. Stay down. Amara pressed herself against the marble. Her heart thundered. People were trying to kill her. Again. Min Jae moved like a ghost, silent, lethal, grabbing a knife from the kitchen block and vanishing into the smoke. Min Jun stayed beside her, crouched, firing, reloading. How many? She whispered. Too many. Footsteps echoed through the haze. Heavy boots on marble. A masked man appeared. Min Jun didn't hesitate. 2 shots, and the man collapsed. Amara flinched hard. She'd never seen someone die like that. Stay close. Min Jun growled, pulling her up. They moved through the smoke. Bodies on the floor. She didn't look. She couldn't. Min Jae reappeared, blood on his hands. Panic room. Now. The panic room was small, steel-walled, claustrophobic. The twins locked them inside. Gunfire and shouting continued outside. Muffled now, but terrifying. Amara shook violently. Not from fear, but from the adrenaline coursing through her. Min Jae knelt in front of her. Are you hurt? She shook her head, and she saw blood on her arm. You're bleeding, Min Jun said, stepping closer. It's not mine, she whispered. He checked anyway, hands unexpectedly gentle. You're in shock, Min Jae said. I'm fine. You're not. The weight of everything hit her, hard. The lies, the violence, the truth that nothing would ever be normal again. Tears slipped down her cheeks, quiet, uncontrollable. Min Jae pulled her into his arms. Min Jun sat beside them, placing a hand on her knee. I want to go home, she whispered. You can't, Min Jae said softly. Why not? Min Jun answered. Because you're on their hit list now. The moment Min Jae showed interest in you, the moment I started watching you, you became a target. So this is your fault, she said bitterly. Yes, Min Jae admitted. It is. And we're not apologizing for it, Min Jun added. Amara let out a weak, humorless laugh. Of course they weren't. Why didn't you just leave me alone? She asked. If being near you puts me in danger, why didn't you just walk away? Min Jae's jaw clenched. Min Jun answered first. Because the moment we saw you, walking away stopped being an option. That's not an answer. It's the only answer we have. Min Jae cut in. Do you think we wanted to drag you into our world? Then why did you? Because I couldn't stop thinking about you. Min Jae burst out. Because every time I closed my eyes, I saw your face. Your smile. The way you looked at me like I was more than a criminal. And I couldn't stop watching you. Min Jun added darkly. Couldn't stop needing to know you were safe. That you were mine. I'm not yours. You are, he said firmly. You've been ours since the moment we decided you were. And nothing, not your anger, not your fear, not even your hatred, is going to change that. She stared at them. They meant it. Every word. This wasn't a game. This was obsession. Raw. Real. Dangerous. I should hate you, she whispered. You do, Min Jae said. But you also want us, Min Jun added. She closed her eyes. Because he was right. God help her. He was right. Somewhere between the lies and the terror, she had started to feel it. The pull. The heat. The way her body responded when they were close. I'm so angry at you both, she said, her voice breaking. Good. Min Jun murmured. Use it. Use it for what? This. Then he kissed her. Hard, rough, demanding. Amara gasped against his mouth, and instead of pushing him away, she grabbed his shirt and pulled him closer. Min Jae's hand slid into her hair from behind. Amara, he breathed against her neck. She was drowning. In them. In this. And she didn't want to be saved. Amara tore her mouth away from Min-jun, gasping for breath. Her lips were swollen, her pulse crashing wildly through her chest. "Stop," she whispered, but she didn't mean it. Min-jae gently turned her face toward him, searching her expression with eyes full of emotion. "Tell us to stop," he murmured, "and we will." Her mouth opened. The word hovered on her tongue. Stop, but it wouldn't come out, because she didn't want them to stop. She hated that truth, hated that it pulsed hot and undeniable through her body, hated that the danger, the lies, and the darkness surrounding them didn't matter in this moment. She wanted them, both of them. "I hate you," she whispered instead. Min-jun's smirk brushed against her neck. "I know. I hate that I want this." "I know," Min-jae echoed softly, pressing his forehead against hers. "I hate that I can't stop." "Then don't," Min-jun growled, his hand sliding up her thigh, claiming space he had no right to claim. And she didn't. She leaned into Min-jae first, her lips brushing as softly, slowly, with a tremor of hesitation and desire. His answering groan vibrated against her mouth as his hands held her face with a tenderness that contradicted everything else about their world. Min-jun's lips found her shoulder, her throat, her jawline, each touch a spark that made her breath catch. Surrounded by them, enclosed by their heat and intensity, she finally let go. For the first time since waking up in the penthouse, she stopped fighting. A loud bang against the panic room door shattered everything. All three froze. "Boss!" A voice shouted from outside, urgent and strained. Min-jun jerked away from her instantly, his expression snapping back to lethal focus. Min-jae stood and helped her to her feet, positioning himself protectively in front of her. The door opened to reveal one of their bodyguards, bloodied, breathing hard but still standing. He launched into rapid-fire Korean. Min-jun's jaw clenched. Min-jae swore quietly. "What's happening?" Amara asked, her voice shaking. "They're gone," Min-jae replied. "For now. But they'll be back," Min-jun added darkly. "How many do we lose?" Min-jae asked his man. 3 dead. 5 injured." Amara's stomach twisted violently. People had died. Because of her. Because she was here. "This is my fault," she whispered. "No," Min-jae said instantly, gripping her shoulders. "This is their fault. The ones who attacked. Not yours. But if I hadn't been, they would have attacked anyway," Min-jun said sharply. "You were just the excuse." She didn't believe him. Not fully. But she didn't have the strength to argue. Min-jun pulled out his gun. "We can't stay here." "Agreed," Min-jae said. "Too exposed." Amara swallowed. "Where do we go?" "Somewhere safer," Min-jun answered. "Somewhere they won't expect." Within 20 minutes, they were moving. The penthouse was destroyed, shattered glass, bullet holes, blood streaks across marble. Amara forced herself not to look too closely. They headed down to an underground garage where a convoy of black SUVs waited with armed men. Min-jae helped her into the middle vehicle. Min-jun closed the door behind her and took the seat beside her. As they drove, she pulled out her phone. "Another attack. We're moving again. I don't even know where. I'm so tired, Nia." There was no response. She stared at the screen, willing something to appear. Finally, after agonizing seconds, "Nia, I'm here. Sorry. Family stuff is crazy. Are you safe?" "Amara." "Define safe." "Nia, alive?" "Amara." "For now." "Nia." "Then stay alive. I'll be back soon. We'll figure this out." Amara wished she could believe that, but deep down, she knew she was already too far in. Whether she liked it or not, this was her life now. The convoy eventually stopped at a remote mountain house, smaller, warmer, quiet, hidden in the forest. "This is one of our emergency locations," Min-jae said. "Only trusted men know about it." "How many emergency locations do you have?" she asked. "Enough," Min-jun replied. The place felt strangely safe. She hated that. "There are 3 bedrooms upstairs," Min-jae told her. "Take whichever you want." "And you too?" she asked. "We'll be close," Min-jun said, brushing past her, his hand grazing her waist. Deliberate. Electric. She chose the bedroom farthest away, locked the door, sat on the bed, and finally let her thoughts unravel. The panic room, the kisses, the fact that she didn't just respond, she wanted it. She typed. "I kissed them. Both of them." Deleted it. Typed again. "I think I'm losing my mind." Nia replied fast. "You're not losing your mind. You're surviving. Is that what this is? Survival? Amara wrote. Or something else? Nia asked, and Amara realized she didn't know anymore. I think I like it. The danger. Them. Then stop fighting it, Nia wrote. I can't. That's insane. More insane than being held by Mafia twins? Amara almost laughed. Almost. She didn't sleep. Images of blood and gunshots replayed behind her eyes. Around midnight, there was a soft knock. Amara. Min-jae's voice. Soft. Can I come in? She should have told him no, but she unlocked the door. He stood there in sweatpants and a t-shirt, hair messy, eyes exhausted. He looked human again. Can't sleep? He asked. She shook her head. You? No. He waited. Patient. Hopeful. And she stepped aside. He entered slowly. She locked the door behind him. I'm sorry, he said. For what? For everything. For lying. For dragging you into this. For putting you in danger. You already apologized. I need you to hear it again, he whispered. I never meant to hurt you. But you did. He nodded. I know. And I'd undo all of it if I could. But I can't. So I'll keep you safe instead. She searched his face. The warmth. The sincerity. The ache. I still don't understand why you care so much, she whispered. He stepped closer. Because when I was bleeding out on that gurney, I thought I was going to die. And the last thing I saw was your face. Smiling at me. He tucked a braid behind her ear. I decided if I survived, I'd find you, protect you, and keep you. That's possessive. I know. That's unhealthy. I know. That's... He kissed her. Soft. Desperate. Trembling with everything he'd held back. She let him. Because she was tired of fighting, of denying, of pretending. The door opened. They broke apart. Min-jun stood in the doorway. Eyes dark and knowing. I knew you'd come to her, he said. Leave. Min-jae snapped. No. Min-jun closed the door behind him. I'm done pretending we're taking turns. Amara stiffened. What does that mean? It means we both want you. Min-jun said, stepping closer. And you want both of us. That's not. Don't lie, he cut in. Your heart's racing. Your pupils are blown. You're pressing your thighs together like you're trying to stop yourself from feeling what we do to you. Her cheeks flushed hot. Because he was right. Min-jae touched her shoulder gently. Tell us what you want. I don't know, she whispered. Yes, you do, Min-jun murmured. She looked between them. Same faces, different souls, both dangerous in their own ways. And she realized the truth she'd been avoiding. She didn't want to choose. I want both of you, she breathed. Min-jae's breath hitched. Min-jun's mouth curved into a slow smile. Then you'll have us, Min-jun said. Both of us. Min-jae looked at his brother. Are you sure? Never been more sure. Then they both turned to her. Are you sure? Min-jae asked softly. She should have said no. Should have run. Should have done anything else. But she didn't. Yes, she whispered. Min-jun moved first, sliding an arm around her waist, pulling her against him. Good girl, he murmured. Min-jae stepped behind her, his hands warm on her hips. She was trapped between them, owned by them, desired by them. We'll take care of you, Min-jae whispered. We'll ruin you, Min-jun added darkly. And you'll love every second of it. Her knees went weak. Min-jun lifted her effortlessly, carrying her to the bed while Min-jae followed. And for the first time since this entire nightmare began, she stopped thinking. She let herself feel. Only feel. Amara woke tangled between them. Min-jae's arm rested across her waist. Min-jun's hand lay loosely in her hair. For a long, still moment, she didn't move. She simply lay there, feeling their warmth, their breathing, and the undeniable weight of everything that had happened the night before. She should have felt guilt. She should have felt shame. But she didn't. She felt claimed. And, God help her, she liked it. Min-jae stirred first. His eyes opened slowly and met hers. Good morning, he whispered. She whispered the same back. Still half asleep. Min-jun's grip in her hair tightened. Stop talking. Too early. A faint smile tugged at her lips. Two dangerous Mafia twins. One gentle, one rough, both hopelessly obsessed with her. And she was just as obsessed with them. Eventually they pulled themselves out of the bed. They showered separately, though Min-jun tried to join her, and she had to physically shove him out. When she came downstairs, breakfast was already waiting. Min-jae had cooked again. Min-jun stood off to the side, speaking into his phone in sharp, fast Korean. His expression looked dark. She approached carefully. What's wrong? He ended the call. More problems. The rivals are regrouping. How soon? Soon enough. Min Jae placed a plate in front of her. Eat first. Then we'll talk. But she couldn't eat. Her stomach twisted. How long can we keep running? She asked. As long as we need to, Min Jun answered. That's not an answer. It's the only answer I have. She pushed the food around listlessly. What if I left? She blurted out. What if I went back to the States? Would they stop hunting me? Silence followed. Min Jae sat slowly across from her. No. Why not? Because you're tied to us now, Min Jun said bluntly. They know your face. They know you matter to us. Leaving won't make you safe. It will just make you easier to hit. So I'm trapped. You're protected. Min Jae corrected gently. Same thing. It's not. She stood abruptly, chest tight. I need air. Min Jun rose as well. You're not going outside alone. Then come with me. She snapped. I don't care. Just let me breathe. They walked in the forest surrounding the safe house. Min Jun stayed close, always alert, his hand hovering near the weapon at his hip. Do you ever relax? She asked. No, not even when you're asleep, especially not then. She studied him. That sounded exhausting. It is. They walked in silence for a moment before she spoke again. Why do you do it? The Mafia thing. The violence. All of it. He didn't answer at first. She assumed he wouldn't. But eventually. Because I'm good at it. And because in our world, you're either predator or prey. I chose predator. And Min Jae. He chose predator too. He's just better at pretending to be human. And what am I? He stopped walking. Turned to her. You're the only thing that makes us feel human. Her breath caught. Don't say things like that. Why not? Because it makes it harder to hate you. He stepped closer. Good. I don't want you to hate me. What do you want? He cupped her jaw gently. I want you to accept that you're ours. Completely. No more fighting. No more running. Just surrender. I already did, she whispered. Last night. That was your body, he murmured. I want your mind. Your heart. Your soul. That's a lot. I know. What if I can't give you that? Then I'll wait. For how long? Forever. When they returned to the house, Amara's phone buzzed. Nia. Finally. She answered quickly. Nia. Oh my God. Amara, listen to me. Nia's voice was urgent, scared. I've been digging. Asking questions. Calling in favors. What are you talking about? The Kim twins. Your boyfriends. Or captors. Whatever they are. Amara froze. What about them? They're not just Mafia. They're the Mafia. Top tier. Their family controls half of Seoul's underground. Drugs. Weapons. Human trafficking. Human trafficking? Amara's voice cracked. I don't know if they're directly involved, but their organization is. And that's not even the worst part. What's worse? The rivals hunting you? They're a faction that split from the Kim family 5 years ago. It's a blood feud, Amara. And you're caught in the middle of it. Amara sat down slowly, feeling the twins' eyes on her as she listened. How bad is it? She whispered. Bad enough that I'm scared for you. Bad enough that you need to find a way out. I can't. Amara. I can't, Nia. They won't let me go. And even if they did, the rivals would find me. Then what are you going to do? I don't know. Silence. Then, do you love them? The question stunned her. I do. You love them. She looked at Min Jae, then at Min Jun, both watching her with quiet intensity. I don't know, she whispered, but I think I'm starting to. Nia sighed. Then God help you, because you're in deeper than I thought. After she hung up, she faced the twins. What did she say? Min Jae asked. The truth, she said softly, about who you are, what your family does. Min Jun's jaw tightened. And I need you to tell me. Everything. No more lies. The brothers exchanged a long look, then Min Jae nodded. They sat, and for an hour, they told her everything. The empire, the drugs, weapons, money laundering, the split that created their enemies, the murders, the blood. Min Jae's hands shook as he spoke. Min Jun remained cold, emotionless, but she saw the weight behind his eyes. We've done terrible things, Min Jae said. Things we can't take back. Things we don't regret, Min Jun added. But we don't hurt innocents, Min Jae continued. That's our line. We don't cross it. Except me, Amara said quietly. You dragged me into this. You're not innocent anymore, Min Jun said. The moment you chose us, you crossed that line too. Before she could respond, alarms blared through the house. They were under attack again. Min Jun grabbed her hand and pulled her toward the panic room. Min Jae grabbed weapons. How do they find us? She shouted. Doesn't matter. Min Jun shouted back. Move. They were halfway down the hall when the windows shattered. Smoke grenades were thrown in. Gunshots erupted. Min-jun shoved her behind a wall and barked, "Stay down." The twins moved in terrifying synchronization, covering, firing, advancing. Bodies fell around them, but there were too many. A bullet struck Min-jae's shoulder. "Jae!" Amara screamed. Min-jun dragged his brother behind cover. "I'm fine," Min-jae hissed. "You're shot," she cried. "I've been shot before." Min-jun's expression turned murderous. "Stay with her." Then he stood and walked into the chaos like a man carved from war. Amara had seen him fight, but never like this. He became something else entirely, something lethal, unstoppable. He moved through the smoke with inhuman precision, every shot finding a target. Men tried to run. He hunted them down. She watched in horror and awe. This was the real Min-jun, not the man who held her, not the man who whispered to her in the dark. This was the predator, the monster, and she wasn't afraid, because he was doing it for them, for her. Minutes later, it was over. The house was destroyed. Bodies littered the floor. Min-jun returned covered in blood, but untouched. "You okay?" he asked her, eyes locked on hers. She nodded shakily. He turned to his brother. Min-jae was pale, sweating heavily. "We need a doctor," she said. "No doctors," Min-jae rasped. "You're bleeding out." "I've got a kid in the panic room," Min-jun said. "You'll have to do it." "Me? You're a nurse." "I work in ER, not battlefield surgery." "You'll figure it out." And she did. Hands trembling, she cleaned and stitched the wound, extracting the bullet. Min-jae never flinched. When she finished, she sat back, exhausted. "You're good at this," Min-jun murmured. "I've had practice," she muttered. Min-jae took her hand. "Thank you." "Don't thank me," she whispered. "You got shot because of me." "No," Min-jun said quietly. "He got shot because of them." She felt something inside her crack. "How long is this going to keep happening?" "Until we end it," Min-jun said. "How do you end a blood feud? You finish it." The way he said it chilled her. "You mean? I mean we kill every last one of them, until there's no one left to come after us. That's insane. That's survival." She looked at Min-jae. He hesitated,